Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for stopping by. We got a special video for you today, and I do mean special because we are going to be ranking anime figure companies from best to worst, or maybe favorite to least favorite, whatever sounds better. And I do mean we, because today we're going to be joined by a special guest for this one. Been in the works for quite a bit, but please give a warm welcome to our special guest, Derek of DTTC Reviews. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How's everyone else doing? I'm DTTC, or Derek. Yeah, we've been trying to do this for a little while, but it's going to be a fun one. We're going to rank everything that we can. Hopefully you guys won't be too offended.
Hopefully not. Now, this is just our opinion. This isn't supposed to be taken too seriously, but considering we've both been collecting for quite a bit, I thought this would be fun to just talk about these companies together to get two different opinions and just kind of figure out, like, where we both stand. We do have to come to a decision on these, but I assume we won't be arguing too much. I think we'll be okay for this video.
Get your pitchforks out.
Yeah, seriously. So, very simple. I have it from S to D. Would have given it some cute names, but I feel like this is a little bit more straightforward. And if I could just... my computer's a mess right now. I have like 47 companies right now, so we have a lot. Some will definitely be talked about more than others, because that's just kind of how it is. Let's begin. Derek, do you have anybody you would like to start with?
Ooh.
Putting you on the spot here.
Yikes. Starting off with. I mean, we can get a heavy hitter out of the way.
We could.
I love Megahouse
Do an easy
stuff.
one?
We can probably do
Okay.
Megahouse.
All right, let's do Mega. This one's interesting. I talked to you about this earlier. I split them into two, because I truly believe that Megahouse can be ranked between everything they make and One Piece. Like, their One Piece division is, in my opinion, so much better than everything else that giving them, like, a ranking for everything just doesn't really feel fair to me. And I think you agree, but let me know what you think about that.
I mean, I think it kind of makes sense, because, like, in my opinion, whenever we do go and, like, whenever I have picked up Megahouse things, the quality is just so much better. They have multiple lines and whatnot, but yeah.
Even
just...
within One Piece, they have, like, tiers of, like, the WA maximum versus maximum. You know a lot more than I do. I actually don't have any One Piece figures, but I know there's, like, tiers to it where they go, like, extravagant or simple. But even so, like, I feel like you don't see that extravagant quality for pretty much anything else. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The only other thing I've seen is it's from their Precious Gem line.
Yeah.
So the Gem line is like their super basic. Kind of.
You know what? I'll give them some credit.
Yeah.
They make some nice Naruto stuff, like
That's
the
true.
special, like the ones for the girls from Naruto. Like the more they're like on number 4 for Hinata, and they're getting pretty crazy with it. Even though I do think their third Hinata was the best one, with like the lion fists.
Oh, that was
very
a good
cool. The Sakura they made was good. Tsunade recently got a good one. So, yeah, where do you think the One Piece, like, side of things should go? Because I actually don't have that, like, hot of a take here. I don't know exactly, but you're the most informed one on Megahouse.
They're the only ones who make One Piece scales, if you can call them scales. It would probably have to be probably an S rank.
Ooh, the immediate S. People aren't gonna like that.
A little biased, you know.
I don't really have a problem with that. One of the reasons I don't want to rank Megahouse that high is because they have such, I'm just gonna say, terrible pricing, and a lot of their stuff is exclusive. It's not the easiest stuff to get. Sometimes, like, it's not even listed on AmiAmi. Like, all the One Piece stuff you can't get there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And you don't get sales for the most part. Like, most figures are discounted, but Megahouse not so much. I think their quality is around that B tier, so like normal Megahouse I'd put B.
Yeah, it's not
I might argue with you to put them down to A for the One Piece stuff, but they are the only ones who make One Piece, and I think that's okay. Wish we saved that for later, though. Anyway,
sorry,
I'm cool with that. No, you're good. You're good.
I didn't know where to start.
I put you on the spot, so it is my fault. I guess we'll do another, like, pretty big one. Kotobukiya. I'm just dragging everything to B, by the way, just because it's in the middle of the list. I think, you know, Kotobukiya is one of the, like, go-tos for anybody starting out. They just make a lot of stuff that you probably know, and their quality is always very like similar to their like promotional images when they first go up for pre-order. Now, I do think their prices have crept up a little bit too much. I feel like their quality isn't really matching that price point, because while I do like how their figures look, I don't really feel like they match like the 26 and up price range that they sometimes ask for these days, especially with stuff like the Girls Band Cry figures, which love that show, love those characters, would never spend 26,000 yen on them. I'm sorry, that's way too much. Like, normally, I would maybe even suggest A, but I think what kind of keeps them locked in B for me is that, along with how pretty terrible they are with exclusivity in terms of, like, their bonuses. I feel like they're so anti-consumer for anybody outside of Japan that I just cannot give them the bone here. I feel like I have to be a little, like, restrictive on, like, I just can't put them higher than this. I don't like how it's so hard to get some of their stuff.
I mean, I have my fair share of Kotobukiya related stuff now. A lot of the Pokemon related things. Some of the Transformer gals. They've turned out decent, but like you said, the quality typically doesn't match the price. Like for some of their stuff. Some of them it's fairly priced, but some isn't.
Yeah.
Like,
it ranges pretty like crazy. Sometimes they're like 15,000 yen. It's like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Value.
But lately, it's just a lot of them kind of creep past that 22,000, and that's when I get a little bit iffy. It's like, I don't know, guys. I feel like you should maybe lower them a little bit.
Like
I understand
quality's
it's tough
not
right
very
now.
high either, right? So like you can't.
I've always felt like their shading was fine. You know, like I don't feel like they go too hard in shading, gradation, stuff like that, unless the characters are super colorful and they have to. But yeah, I feel like this is fair for them. I would bump them up into A if they just try to actually help us out to give them money so we can get everything that they make and not just like have to go through proxies, which apparently they block, right? Like you can't even use proxies sometimes. I've heard that. It seems like such a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, the problem with this video is I feel like it's very easy for us to just put stuff in the B tier because a lot of figures are solid, you know? People aren't out here making garbage all the time. Like, usually it's pretty serviceable.
Not all.
So it gets, not everybody, but it does get to the point where it's pretty tricky. But let me try and think of one that I would put A.
Ooh.
Now, people would probably put this in S, but for me, and this is a very subjective list, I have to put Myethos in A. I think that's how you say their name. I think these guys are fantastic, but lately, we've had to deal with like Japan kind of taxing their stuff when we buy from the typical stores that we do. Pretty sure their prices are a lot cheaper in China. But when we have to go to like AmiAmi, Hobby Link Japan, etc., we're paying this like extra fee for whatever reason, and it didn't used to be that way. But they just make so many nice figures for still affordable prices. And most of the time, people are very happy with these products. I think you also own a couple of them, if I'm not wrong.
I do have a few of them, and some of them are also on my wish list as well. So like, now they make really, really high quality products for some reason, and like you said, the price is pretty good. So I don't know. A, S, it's kind of.
They could be S. The problem for me is that they literally just don't make anything I want. It's not that I don't think it looks good, but they just deal with these franchises, these characters that I don't know, and they just don't like hit my sensibilities. They just don't really cater to me, which is fine, right? I don't need that, but I can't personally put them to the S tier of like, these are my favorite companies of all time. I'm always going to buy from them. So I don't know exactly how I should put this. I think this one could upset people, but I mean, A is very respectable.
We could slide it into A.
I think S is gonna have our biases, but A is like right under that. A is like super, super solid anyway. But yeah, I can move it later if I'm feeling bad about it, but I think that's okay.
It's a solid spot.
Yeah, this ugly symbol right here that says Tel, Sti, or Ste, that's Intelligent Systems. I kind of just threw that on there because they make figures every like couple of months, only from Fire Emblem. I think these guys I would slide into the B tier just because, well, they do fill a niche of just making Fire Emblem, which no one else will do, of course, besides Good Smile Company with the pop-up parades. They have had a few stumbles here and there. Like Lynn was a good figure, but had some quality control issues. Then they made like Roy and the other girl from that game. I can't remember her name. They were so expensive, right? I think Byleth might have had some issues, but I do think most people are very satisfied with the Fire Emblem figures. I could put them in A, but I'm gonna leave them in B for now. I feel like you don't have an opinion on these guys, but
I mean,
you let me know.
Their stuff around. I've seen some reviews randomly pop up. Like, some of their stuff does look okay. I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan. I have played it in the past. I think B is probably a good spot to put it, though.
It's fair. I think they could get A. Some of their figures are A, and some of them are like B, or if they really mess up, it's C. Like that Roy one just kind of upsets me because I really was gonna get him and Ike and Marth, but I hated his base and he was so expensive. The other guys were 20,000 and he was 27,500. It's like, dude, chill the hell out. I'm passing it to you, buddy. Oof. Where should we go next?
I mean, a lot of the stuff I like and a lot of the stuff I collect is pretty mainstreamy, I guess you can say. But we could let's do a controversial one.
Yeah. Which one is that?
I don't think either one of us has anything from this company, but we definitely have an opinion.
That's gonna make it hard, but okay. Oh yeah, which one?
We're gonna take a look at Prisma Wing.
Prisma Wing. Do I not have anything from Prisma Wing? I'm pretty sure I don't. There's been a few that I've been interested in, but I never go for it. I feel like these guys have really good ideas, and if you don't know Prisma Wing, they're pretty much like a subdivision of Prime 1 Studios, who make these very large, massive, beautiful statues, and they decided to get into the PVC world with these typical 1/7 scales, maybe bigger sometimes. In fact, I think they have made like 1/4 under the Prisma Wing line. I don't understand what the point is at that point. However, they make a lot of really cool stuff. You see them, and it's kind of like Estream. You're like impressed immediately, but then you look a little bit closer, and it's like, something looks a little off here. For me, it's always like the characters' faces. They just don't really look like them half the time. It really bugs me. I remember when they made the Yudo Camp figures of Nadeshiko and Rin. They look so uncanny to me. I was very off-put by the figure, even though I think they came with like the scooter. It was a good concept. They were like really close to each other. It was very cute. But it was just like, something's off here. And I just feel like that all the time with this company. It really bums me out. That and their prices. Their prices are outrageous. To the point where I'll probably never buy anything from them unless it's majorly discounted.
I've almost pulled the trigger like on 4 separate occasions on different sales for Prisma Wing products. But again, like a lot of it is the sculpt is, I'd say it's like 80 or 90% of the way there every single time. But usually it's the face or like something to do with the coloring looks very like muted. Like if you're paying that much money, like I'd expect it to be even higher quality. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't. I don't know. They have a REM coming out, and I'm gonna definitely pass on that because it kind of just looks like a noodle topper in a glass. So.
Oh, the glass one. They're making that. I honestly don't hate that concept, but I think Echidna has the better figure.
Ooh, fight words.
I'm not saying Echidna is the better girl, even though I probably would. I don't know. I like Echidna. But I remember they put up, I'll put this on screen later in post, but the quintessential quintuplet figures, it's like 5 girls on this couch, and they were like 30,000 yen each. You had to spend like 150,000 yen for all of them, and every single one of those binned. It's just like, one, who's ever going to pay that much? And 2, they never look good enough for that 30,000 yen price. Like the furniture looked kind of good, but the girls looked a little prize tier-esque. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know.
C seems pretty fair. It's not outrageous, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it would actually take at this point to get to a D tier. Because most things are just pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, I got like one I could put in D tier, but I don't want to do that yet. Even another one that I feel like people complain about all the time. I don't know if I would put them in D, but you know what? I want to do another C tier. Okay. I'm in a hater mood right now. I'm gonna do Phat Company. I think Phat Company is another one that has like some decent concepts. They definitely lean more on the looter side. They like to make a lot of suggestive type figures, and I think that's cool. I think they make some pretty sexy sculpts, but one, their quality control is never really there. Like, they are very sloppy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this happens lately, but they used to have the worst delays, like 6 months to a year of just having to wait for your figure after it got that like initial release window. It's like, what's going on? How are you guys messing up this bad? Megahouse is definitely better than Phat. Kotobukiya is definitely better than Phat. I think Phat Company might put out some stuff that's a little bit more alluring, right? But I feel like when it comes to the sculpting and the quality you're actually getting, I do think they could do a little bit better. And their pricing is also very high too for what I think is not really hitting that mark.
I mean, I'd argue we might even be able to put them in the D tier because I've not seen such terrible quality control in a very long time.
Have you had bad quality control with them?
I bought a REM
like
a long time ago, but for whatever reason they couldn't get like some of the detailing right on the sides or like the tail or whatever. So I contacted Amiyami at the time, and they actually sent me out a replacement. Still, same issue. And at that point, I'm like, I'm not waiting another, like month and a half for you guys to try to fix it. Also, the box is incredibly flimsy as well. So I don't know, just like the that whole experience kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I don't know, C, D, up to you where you want to put it, but definitely not gonna get into the B tier.
Also, did you know they changed their name to like Phatism? Like Phatism. I don't know how you're supposed to say that,
Wait,
but it's such a
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, you're right.
It's such a stupid name. I don't know why you would like ruin your branding. I feel like they'll revert that one day. Yeah, okay, so I don't think they're D, but for the sake of this being our video, I would be willing to put them in D. I think that's fine, unless we run into some other... That's the thing, we don't have like that many companies we'll think deserve D.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Hey, when I'm married
okay
to
with
it, we
that.
can move things around, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's get more positive. Let's do Apex. Now, Apex, do you have any Apex figures?
I have a ton of Apex figures.
Oh,
wait, no.
Which ones do you have?
Sorry, not Apex. No. My bad. I thought we were talking about another. No. I have, I think, 1 or 2 on order.
Right.
But I know for a fact that Apex is huge for, like, was it Genshin and whatnot, right?
Well, no, there's not many Genshin figures that exist, because Genshin just doesn't get many, but... they did make a few. What they make? Ganyu? Was that her name?
I think they're really catering towards like the masses. It is an Asian company. It is a Chinese company, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So they're definitely gonna do all the video game characters and everything like that. So they're gonna get a lot of steam, a lot of hype there. In terms of quality, I don't have anything yet, so I can't really speak on the quality. But from what I have seen, the sculpts and designs, packaging and everything, I think they're at least a solid B. If we don't go higher.
Well, the thing is, their pricing is super competitive. I think they put out some of the best prices, and like you said, they deliver a lot of stuff that people actually want. If you're into Genshin, if you're into Arknights, Azur Lane, they make figures for you, which a lot of companies do, but they also make it pretty fair in terms of the pricing. They made some really nice Race Queen figures. They did make the Ganyu. They made the... Kekwing, I think that's how you say her name. That one girl who, I know like Ken made a video on this. Honestly, anybody who made a video on this Ningguang girl, where she's in that really nice chair. Those videos all blew up because everybody loved this figure. I kind of think these guys deserve the A. While I don't think I have anything from them. I did have the Ganyu, but I had to sell it just because I was downsizing. And I did like that figure. You know, it's another one of those situations where they don't cater to me, but as somebody just looking at all of these figures, I'm usually pretty impressed at the quality they put out. Yeah, the Baltimore Race Queen, that one was super popular too. Yeah, I'm gonna executive decision. I think they go to A. I think these guys make a lot of nice stuff, even if it's not like my personal cup of tea. But I only say that because I just don't play any of like these games that they typically focus on.
Yeah, they have some League stuff too, apparently.
Yes, I think they do. The KDA line.
Yeah.
I believe they have made that as well.
Yeah, pretty solid.
But yeah, okay. See, we like stuff around here, even if we don't collect it. I guess I'll do Q's Q. These are one of my favorite, this is one of my favorite companies ever. I think these guys are like the comeback kid. They were so bad back in the day, putting out like some figures that I really liked. but just riddled with quality control issues. As somebody who really likes Toradora, they were one of the first to make like a lot of figures of Taiga. And a couple of them, while cute, had a lot of issues. And even back then, when like the standards weren't as high, I was still like, why is there all these smudges all over my figure? And why is it all scuffed here and there? It just wasn't really that good of a service buying from these guys. But lately, they're like nothing but bangers. These guys have delivered constantly, like repeatedly. I love them. They make the Toho Vania line. They make all these Shuten Doji figures that I really like. I think I have at least 10 figures from them. I could check later, I guess, but lately I've not been disappointed by their quality at all. I would personally put them in S. I think they rival some of the best, and I don't think their pricing is that bad either, considering the quality. They're expensive, but they're not unreasonable, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I mean, like, I don't really have anything from them. The only things that have really caught my eye from their new catalog, I guess, would be the stuff from Frieren. But then again, Frieren has so many characters. But...
Yeah, well, they're actually making an Aura. Nobody else is making an Aura. She actually did get a prototype. I don't know if you saw that. She is looking very good. I'm probably going to buy that because I do love Frieren. Yeah, I feel like if anybody is not familiar with this company, you should do yourself a favor and look at like their upcoming releases, things that have come out lately, and you might find something that you're interested in.
Okay, well, we can't do a list without Alter, right?
True. I feel like that's the easiest S tier of all.
Like, do we need to really go into detail here?
We don't really need to.
Have stuff from them too.
Yeah, I have a lot. Something, I don't know if you know this, you can go on your like MFC page, you go to like your classifications, and you can do it by like company. Like you group it by company, and then if I look at it, I believe I have 18 or 19 figures from them. I mean, if you weren't a believer, as soon as those like Flandre and Romelia figures came out from Toho, surely you were convinced. Or like the Schwarz figure, I think her name is, from Arknights, that one where she's got that huge crossbow. Such an impressive figure. I feel like these guys have really stepped up their game. I feel like the only reason you wouldn't like these guys is if they just didn't make stuff that was for you. And I think that's fair because they do make a lot of like gacha game figures. If you're not into Azur Lane, you're probably not going to like these guys very much. They've announced so much of that. They've been doing a lot of Toho lately, which is very targeted at me, so I'm super happy about that. Idolmaster, another one that's not super popular, but definitely kind of hits my like just niche of just figure collecting. And you know, they sometimes do Eva, they do Overlord sometimes, which is very cool. That's a nice series that they picked up. But yeah, we don't need to spend a lot of time on these guys because I think everybody just kind of knows. If you're looking for a nice figure and you see that it's made by Alter, good price, you like it, go for it. You will absolutely be satisfied. What's a basic one? Plum. I don't feel like we really need to talk about Plum. Plum's fine.
Yeah,
I feel like Plum's not very exciting. I feel like it would be kind of... Like, I don't think they deserve a C, but like, I've never really been excited about a Plum figure. But that doesn't really mean it's low quality. So, like, I think I would trust Plum more than Prisma Wing, just because Prisma Wing makes a little bit more mistakes. Plum's just, like, safe. They're a safe company, can't go wrong, but they gotta make something you like, right?
I think I have one figure coming in from them. So,
Which one?
The Len from Gun Gale Online.
Oh, yeah, they made that one.
I mean, I'm hoping they're doing a re-release, so I'm picking up the re-release.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I would like if they would do more, like the Fuka or the Pito and whatever, if you guys actually watch that. I think they're cool characters. I like guns. Who doesn't like guns? I don't know. Yeah,
No, it's whatever. I don't think I actually own a Plum figure. I'm pretty sure I don't. Just usually don't make stuff that's for me, but that's okay. This is the problem with our list, right? Broccoli. I think they're a B tier. I think they're another very solid company. I couldn't put them in A. I think sometimes their pricing is a little high, but I do like what they put out. They did make the May figure from Guilty Gear Strive, which I adore. Very cute. Very nicely painted. Like, I love the colors of that one. Super vibrant. Pretty good deal considering her massive anchor that she comes with. Zero assembly, which was cool because I didn't have to worry about anything breaking, and it's just really faithful to the character design. What do you think about Flare? Do you have any Flare figures?
Don't have any Flare figures.
I think Flare is pretty underrated.
Oh,
I think the only reason people don't talk about them too much is I don't think their output is very high. I don't think they make a ton of figures like super frequently, but when they do, they definitely deliver. I think one of the most popular ones that they've put out is the 2B figure. I think it's a 1/6 scale. They made 9S, which I thought looked pretty good. They made A2, which I absolutely hate, but that's a personal thing. Just don't think that figure looks very good. But it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. I just don't think it looks like the character at all. But I'm looking at their page right now. They have 91 releases, which is pretty low for a company that's been around for a while. So they're pretty slow.
yeah.
But usually, I do think they make some very, very nice looking figures. But also at the same time, now that I'm thinking about it, they have done some missteps. Do you have any flair? Did I ask that? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't have any flair. I'm looking through their list right now. There are some like things that kind of stand out, like some of their Eva stuff kind of catches my eye, but it's not one of those companies I'm like reaching into the bag to grab out first.
See, they've made the Reese figure from Trials of Mana, which I think is such an underrated figure and it bargain binned so hard, so anybody can just get this for like 10,000 yen unless things have changed. Super beautiful. The colors are outstanding. They'll actually kind of blow you away when you see them in person. But then, the character I wanted, Angela, they made a terrible mistake, and she doesn't look like the character anymore. Her face looks atrocious. I hate it. I hate this figure. But at the same time, it's like now this figure is actually hard to find because nobody bought it. So it's actually like a situation where I'm never going to have it now, the character that I really wanted, and it just makes me salty. So now I don't even know what I want to rank this company anymore. I like thought about it for a bit longer, but like when they hit so hard. They do such good work, but then a couple of times they just kind of mess up. And oh man, now I don't know what I want to do.
Is it another B?
I don't want to put them in B. I think when they're at their game, it's A, but I don't know.
I mean, if it's not like majority bangers and there's some missteps, I'd probably put it in B. Even though he wanted not put it in B.
I don't think it's a majority of missteps. I just think there's a few.
Yeah, just a few, but
just a few. I don't know. I think. Oh, the Salas figure's pretty nice too. I think for now, I think their good work really does shine. And I think these guys deserve a little bit more credit.
Okay.
But I just don't like a couple of their figures. I'm gonna leave it there for now. I think that's fair. But yeah, give me another one, Derek. Who do you want to talk about?
How about let's go with Design Coco, relatively new one.
Coco, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna let you take the reins because I've just been yapping. So go for it.
All right. So Design Coco.
Your opinion.
They pretty much do almost every single design that I like. They do a ton of mainstream stuff. So
okay.
They've also helped like other companies do the design work. That's kind of their whole thing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So they've done a lot with like Estream and whatnot. Done with Furyu. I'd say Design Coco, other than the price, would at least be an A tier. So maybe not
really?
S. So we probably park them in A. Because they're the backbone of the industry almost, because they help produce so many characters.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it's hard to argue. I'm looking at like what they've made so far, like under I guess their specific figures, and it's not too much.
Yeah,
right. I know you have the Gawaragura, which I thought was a very nice figure. The Senbon Zakura Miku is so cheap. It says 14,800. I don't know how they pulled that one off. This Miku is great too. The Magical Mirai 2024 version, I just love how crazy the base is with like the globe down there and this like little flourishes of the compass and the airplane. It's just so fun. It's such a fun design. The colors are great too. I think because they do help with other stuff, I think I'm okay with putting them in the A. I don't know if they've like fully proven that their like sculpting and paint is worth the A, but I think I'm okay with that.
All right.
Man, this is hard. It's hard to think of like C's. We gotta get like more opinionated. I gotta be negative. Who do I think?
Bring out the
All right, here's one. DMM Factory. These guys can't price a figure to save their fucking life. I don't want to spend 27,500 yen for a date-style figure, essentially, that Good Small Company would make for 17,000 yen. Doesn't make any sense. These guys have priced their figures so astronomically high that they're just gonna go out of, like, business. I feel like these guys are not going to last a year at the way they're pricing their stuff, unless they have some other company keeping them afloat.
Maybe that's the plan, right?
I don't know, dude. It just, every time I see their stuff, and it's like kind of cool looking, they make some nice sculpts and whatnot, but it's just so high up there that I just can't ever go for it. I think they're so new too, though, that I don't know if any of their stuff is out. Do you know if any of their figures are out? I don't think
I feel like
they have released anything yet. Let me see.
Let's take a look. They have some things that are out, but I've never seen a review for them. The only thing I have an eye on is their Albedo, because it's the armored form, and I like that
was
form
such a
more.
cool.
The face is a little
love that.
iffy, but I'm not paying that price, so we'll wait until it
Glossy
ends, I guess.
purple. It's a really cool one. I like their memcho, the date style, or Bazuraze fashion memcho. Just a great design, but it just I just feel like, who is this for? You know, like, who's willing, unless these are your absolute favorite characters and you just want like all the figures of them. The problem is, it's like, I don't know if they're D. I mean, their quality could be outstanding, but I think they're at least C, you know?
Let's put them in D just for the controversy, and we'll wait for someone who actually owns this to.
You're just gonna get this video dislikes. Okay, now I see how it is.
Not my intention, but engagement is engagement.
Sabotage. You sabotaging me, everybody.
Oh, no.
I put Bellfine on here. I think they're another pretty weak company. Usually just putting out very substandard figures. One of the examples I like to point out is their Tatsumaki from One Punch Man. I just do not like looking at that figure. I'll pull it up right now for the people. Her hair is just like a complete see-through green, and it's a very light shade of green too. I guess it's supposed to be when she's like activating her abilities, but it just looks so odd. I just do not like this figure. Face doesn't look right either. Cool base with the wind, but either way, even this is just a very specific example. I think there's a lot of instances where these guys don't really put out anything that's super exciting. I don't think their pricing is terrible, unless I'm mistaken on that. I think they're pretty fair, but
the pricing's pretty bad.
If really, which maybe. I mean,
if you look into some of their Demon Slayer stuff, anything with an effect part is instantly cut off your right arm. Like, it's too expensive.
Yeah, that's like the whole industry nowadays, though. I don't know what happened. Like, as soon as
really
one. I'm looking at this Sonic thing. I hate this Sonic figure. I don't think you know what I'm talking about. It's like a soft final. It's so ugly.
I'm staring
I
in
love
the face.
Sonic. Why'd they make him look like that? Their Pac-Man's cute, though. I like their Pac-Man they made. I almost bought that a couple of times, but I think when I was thinking of like their cheap figures, their My Hero Academia figures are pretty cheap. And I do like the fun like comic book text they always put on the bottom of the bases, but I don't know if that saves them. I would personally put them in C. I don't think they're offensive. I just don't think they're like that impressive outside of a couple of examples. I do think their My Hero stuff is decent, but a lot of other stuff just, I don't think it's very good.
They haven't proven themselves to move up, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of touched on it, like who started the trend of terrible pricing. We can go into estream.
Oof.
Unless you want to save that for
actually
later.
do. No, we could do it now. I do have 2 figures from Estream. I think you have probably better examples of like Estream's work than I do, because I have the Chainsaw Man of Denji and Makima, and I think they're pretty good. I think the Denji figure had a bit of a misstep with its base. Really cool concept. Kind of just looks like the cover of the first volume, but very like, I don't know, like the paints on the base, it's just like one lightish pink with like a couple of splotches here and there. Could have looked so much more gory, could have looked so much more grotesque, but it kind of just like melds into one mess of just like plastic that just, like, you look up close, you could see some details on it, but I feel like it could have looked so much better. But Denji looked cool, the guts around his arms look cool, definitely a good figure from like my opinion, but it doesn't reach that like, wow, this is the best thing ever made. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is good. This is a good one. And it did bin. So good for me, because that's when I bought it. And the Makima, I thought was pretty well done outside of the bonus faceplate. I think they messed that one up a little bit, which was a shame because I did go for that. But cool concepts. One of the first good Makima figures, in my opinion, because a lot of them just never got her face right. But I feel like Estream was like, all right, let's lock in. And then Amakuni stepped up and did an even better face sculpt for Makima, so they don't even have the crown for that anymore. But yeah, which ones? I think you have like Rems and Rams, right?
Rems, Rams, what else?
Crystal Dress, I think it's called.
So I got like the very first thing they ever produced.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I've been with them since day one. I'm a day oneer.
True.
In the beginning, their packaging was terrible. Things were arriving broken. Coloring wasn't very great.
I remember.
They have stepped up over time, and it's funny because, like we mentioned before, a lot of the designs for the Rems and whatnot is from Design Coco. So got a little bit of a parallel there. So I don't know. I mean, they kind of, in my opinion, set the precedent for just jacking up the price and
I was gonna say, like,
premium.
as soon as they got onto the fucking like the ball court, they jumped in.
They're like,
we're like, hey, we're gonna just price this for 30,000 yen, and then everyone was like, oh, well, if they're doing it, I mean, I guess I can
these
do
new
it.
guys.
Yeah, a little bitter about that. I mean, they certainly try. It's kind of like a Prisma Wing situation where they're usually not being lazy. And I do think they're a little bit better than Prisma Wing in terms of their sculpting and their character accuracy. They do push their pricing a little bit too high for me, but even then, I still feel like it's a little bit more fair than Prisma Wing. See, the issue is I could put them in C just because they started the apocalypse of just like making everything so expensive, but I do feel like they're better than Prisma Wing, and they're in C. So it's just like,
can we do this? Do we put them in C and we bump them lower?
We could. We definitely could.
Because I don't know no offense to anyone who owns Prisma Wing products. I don't know anyone who has anything.
Yeah, I don't either. I never see their stuff.
No offense, guys.
I don't know though. I like my Denji figure. I like my Makima. I don't like. Do you dislike your Rem and your Rams?
No, but that's also like because it's the character. But if we're judging just the company, I'd probably knock them to C. But if we're talking about like overall experience, maybe it's still in a B.
It's not that C means the figures are terrible or anything. It's just that there's issues, right? I think if I was making my own list, I'd probably throw them in B. But I think that's good reasoning enough to
we can put them at the top of C. So like
sure, top of C, one of two.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's fill out another C. I hope nobody gets mad at me about this one. Union Creative, I feel like these guys are just there. I've never seen an impressive Union Creative figure, though they do make a lot of stuff, so there is usually the case that something might catch your eye, but I just have never really seen anything from these guys that I was like pretty impressed by.
They have some interesting choices here. Like, I personally have favorited this one, the Shaltier. Their Shaltier with the
the new Shaltier. That's like one of their best sculpts, like easily. I like that one.
I'm probably gonna get it. I just don't have anything from them in hand really. So
yeah, I remember they messed up something pretty bad. It might have been Doki-chan, Gambare Doki-chan. I feel like they made a figure of her, the office lady, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I have been interested in getting their Biken, but I told myself I'll just wait till it comes out, see how it turns out, because I usually don't like the reviews I've seen from other people with these figures. They just don't look like super impressive to me that I have to add them to my collection, but they certainly make a lot of stuff. Like I said earlier, I think there is a chance you'll find something from them that you dig, and there is a good chance that it'll drop in price, but I don't think they're on the same quality as like Kotobukiya. Like when it comes to just the way they paint their figures and like the finer details, I feel like they could be a little sloppy. I want to talk about one that we all know, we all probably love, and that's Good Smile Company. This one's a big boy. You can't collect without knowing about Good Smile Company. Everybody watching this video probably owns something from Good Smile Company. They pretty much run this industry, like at this point, at least like this circle of figure collecting, right? Like half of these companies work with Good Smile Company just because they're so massive at this point. And it's to their advantage to actually get these guys on board, or rather join Good Smile Company and sell through their sites and just collaborate with them. But this is a bit of a tricky company to rank because they do so much. A lot of these companies only do scale figures. Megahouse is an example where they actually do branch out and do other things, which we didn't even talk about. They make the lookup line, those like little kitty figures, the melty princesses, which are kind of like their equivalent of a pop-up parade, kinda, because they're smaller and a bit more budget. But good small company, they got their Nendos, they got their pop-ups. They sometimes do Figma. They do plushies now. They just do everything. Pins, whatever you want. Good small company is gonna do it. And I've been thinking about this ever since I came up with the idea of making this video. Like, where should I put these guys? Because I feel like they do so much that I could just put them in the S, but I do feel like because they do too much, sometimes their quality control misses a little bit. I will say, good smile company, and maybe this is only because they're so big and they have the ability to do so, they're one of the few on this page that are actually trying to adjust prices for your sake to make them cheaper. Nobody else is really doing that. Most companies raise their prices. Good small company actually trying to keep them kind of low. Lower than Kotobukiya, who were known for having the premium budget figure in a sense, right? Like good stuff for cheap prices. Now good small company is doing that. And it's just like, for that reason, I almost want to put them in S. Like, they're really helping us out. I don't know. What do you think about good small company?
I've had some funny experiences with them, so
yeah, I know you don't shop with them
I don't shop with them
through their
anymore.
sites anymore.
The whole Nendo box thing, and you've also looked at it too with the stands and everything else. They're changing the joints.
I can't say I love the Nendo situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not a Nendo collector per se. I like Nendos. I buy them from time to time. But I'm not always going for them. I buy a couple every year.
I mean, we could keep them in S just because they do so much. I feel like this, the box thing and everything might just be a small hiccup, hopefully, and they can kind of rebound.
Maybe.
But, yeah, if it continues though, then we're in for some strange packaging through everyone, because they're gonna see Good Smile do it and they're like, hey, the big guys are doing it, we can do it.
I will say, I don't think their quality is like Alter or Q's Q. I think they're like one tier under, but I think their pricing kind of pushes them to be at least like alongside them in terms of like what I would recommend to you, because that's ultimately what this is. We were doing this primarily based on like the quality of the figure, but then other aspects could raise or lower. So that's kind of where we're at right now. All right, enough ass kissing. Let's do, I don't know, Wonderful Works, I guess. This is a safe one. I think these guys are extremely solid. I would put them in A tier. I do have their Mona figure, which I'm a big fan of, even if I might sell it just because I don't play Genshin Impact. They did a phenomenal job. Sculpted her very, well in the right places, but I forget if there's anything else. They make all the Ryza figures, not all of them, but they made like one for each game. I think they're making maybe some more than that too. Everything they've made so far has been extremely solid, and their pricing is like pretty fair in my opinion. I don't really have that much to say about them, but I do feel like they kind of came out pretty recently. They're not like a old company or anything, but the figures that they're putting out are pretty dang good.
I think they're also doing a Mau Mau, but I don't know if that competes.
They are making
with
a Mau Mau.
The Good Smile one, so
yeah, well, it's the one where she's all dolled up, right? I think that's the one that Wonderful Works is doing. Maybe I'm just giving them too much credit. They really haven't put out that much.
I have the REM, and it's okay.
I was gonna say it's okay. Okay. I can lower them. I can put them at B.
It's all right. It could be better.
I really only have so much to say about them. I guess looking at their lineup, it's not that impressive. But I do think with a little bit more time, they would raise. So, okay, fair. You know what? We'll put them in B, but with the chance in the future, not this video, to rise up to A. I really do think they put out some nice stuff. It's just maybe a little bit too soon for them. Okay, let's do Spiritale.
Ooh.
You have Spiritale figures, right?
I think I have one or two. I don't...
Sakurajima Mai, maybe?
Oh, I do.
Was that you? I think you reviewed that. Yeah.
How do you know my collection better than me?
I don't know. Just because I thought that figure looked good and I wasn't gonna buy it, and then I saw you make a video on it. So
Okay, to be fair, their selection's also not incredibly big, but I think they have stuff that like I would pick up. I think you have one or two.
I
of
have
these too,
three.
right?
I have 3. I can't spell Spiritale. There we go. I have their Bridget. I have their Corone, which I love.
Oh, yes.
And I have their Neru from Blue Archive. Oh, I also think they made one of the best Marin figures in the Liz cosplay because they chose the very specific scene where she's got her hands by her mouth, like the shout.
Yes, yes.
That's such a good figure. Yeah, they're pretty new too. These guys are Taito, I believe, right? Like this is Taito's.
I believe so. The premium
their
division.
premium line of figures. And yeah, as a result, they haven't really been around for too long. I think their first figure came out like 3 years ago, this Miku. One of my complaints I have with them every single time is I feel like they could do better hair sculpts. I feel like they choose very cheap like ways out when it comes to just like getting that accomplished. Like, yeah, we'll just use the translucent plastic route. Not really gonna shade it. Just kind of put it out there. Like Corone's hair looks fine. Neru's hair looks fine. Bridget's was a bit of a fumble. It didn't look as nice as the promotional photos, but everything else was great. And they're actually pretty good with their prices too, considering like they're another company that tries a little bit harder with the bases. Usually they have a bit of a diorama aspect to it. At least most of them do. Not all of them, but I do think for the most part, they try and go a bit extravagant here. There is one thing that I guess could lower them, because I feel like we're leaning towards A.
Yes.
But I don't know if you heard about this. There was a Miku figure that recently came out. It was the 39th Special Day Edition, where she's sitting on this throne, and she's got this robe that's kind of like all the way on the ground. She's kind of stepping on it a little bit. And that figure had to be recalled because they messed it up so bad. So they had to send everybody who bought one, including the people internationally, a new figure because they just did not deliver on their promises, which is so rare. That like rarely ever happens.
Oh, that one.
I feel like this was the only time that happened.
I've never heard of a
it is
recall
something
before,
to
though. That's pretty
consider.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a problem. I think I would give them the benefit of the doubt just because like it was one time and pretty much everything else they put out was pretty damn good. Like their My Hero figures of Ochako and Himiko, Toga, right? Some of their best figures, like easily. And I think one of the new Miku figures recently came out, the birthday 2022 version, and that one looks very good. Maybe it's a little bit of bias. I would personally leave them an A. Just from good experiences, I don't think they're perfect. I would probably put them on the lower end of A, but I usually look forward to seeing what they're coming up with. They cook some nice meals, and I'm ready to eat, which was a very lame sentence I just said. But I do dig what they make, and I do want to see more from them. So we'll put them in A, okay?
A's good.
A's good. All right, next up, we're going to do Kadokawa, the big phoenix bird here. That's a phoenix, right? I think so. Either way, we both have a couple of figures from Kadokawa, I believe. Since I've been rambling, I'll leave this one to you to start us off. What do you think about these guys?
Kadokawa, they do like everything. Major publishing company in Japan. So they have like usage rights for everything.
Good or bad.
Probably have something of theirs. if you like collecting if you like collecting figures in general or anime in general, I would say, I guess, are we doing Kadokawa in total, or we're just doing like Katie Cole? Like they're
is there a difference? I think the way I did it, I just grouped them as one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I actually don't know the distinction because every time I like make a video about like the news, they kind of combine them. But if they're different, you let me know.
Katie Cole, from what I understand, is more or less their scale premium division, and then they have like the Katie, or what is it called? The Katie Light, which I believe is the prize side.
Katie Light, I think, is like it's like a prize, but it's more like a pop-up crate, I think.
So great gray area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Taiga figure I just opened was a Kadokawa. I don't remember it being a Katie Cole, though. Let me just find the page for that. Where is it?
Because I have a few of theirs, and in general, quality is always there. Pricing is suspect sometimes, but
it's a little iffy.
Yeah.
It's a little iffy.
I mean, it's one of those like solid. It's like a solid B, at least I think.
Yeah, I think I would probably put him at B2. I do want to argue about something though. I feel like whenever I see these guys show up at an event, I don't feel like they're covering a wide range of characters. I feel like they keep making the same ones. I feel like they like to make their Rems, they like to make their Holos, they just like to make the same kind of a lot of Konosuba. They love making Megumi and all those girls, right? Like, I just feel like a lot of the time they're kind of just repeating themselves, and then we're lucky if they kind of branch out a little bit. But besides that, right, I do feel like they're a company that you wouldn't really be too disappointed with if you picked up their figures. Next up, this one's kind of interesting. I actually don't know where I'm going to swing with this way. We have the S-Fire.
Ooh.
The S-Fire as a company. Do I have anything from them? I'm trying to remember right now.
I thought you picked up something from them.
Oh, I have their power figure. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
You know what? That figure's really good. I will say, I do like that one. Probably the most out of all of her figures outside of the upcoming Claynel one, which we haven't talked about yet. They're a tricky company because they're fairly new. But yeah, this was a great figure. I don't think S-Fire really lives up to this all the time, though. Unfortunately, I do feel like they have a couple of problems here and there. Really don't like their Mikus. Every time they make a Miku, I feel like it's very underwhelming. I don't know why they don't bring their A game to Miku. Doesn't make sense to me.
I think they might have the best JJK stuff though. Like,
let me see.
It's pretty good.
One,
I mean,
two,
a lot of
three.
effect parts. For me, when it comes to buying like a figure, if it's a school uniform, I typically go away from it because it's just all one color or very, very hard to see anything. But the way they've been painting things, like with the Gojo, I mean, that's pretty good.
They do have some really special feeling painting. They call it something. I don't remember what their technique is that they classify it as, but yeah, I do feel like some of their painting and shading is some of the best, but I don't feel like they always bring that to some of their figures, which is a bit of a shame. I will also say I think their Nobara looks ugly. I don't think everybody agrees with me on that, but I do not like her face. I think the other figures in this line look a lot better, but I don't know. I don't see Nobara when I look at this one. Really cool composition with the giant nail in the blood, but I don't know. I don't really love her face that much.
I don't know. They have other stuff too. Like, have you watched Kaiju number 8?
Yes. Oh, I think they're... Yeah, I opened the page for him. The Kaiju number 8 figure of him specifically in the monster form, the Kaiju form, is so sick. Like, the lightning bouncing off of his chest, like, that is so well done. And it's a great use of, like, electric pieces, and the base being all smashed up is very, I guess, convincing. It feels like this is actually happening, right? But I can't say, like, the other figures in this series are as impressive. Like, and they're all the same price. That's the thing. Why are they all 27,500 yen? That doesn't make any sense. That's after tax if you're looking at the MFC page. But it's just like, why? Why do they price it like that? I have so many tabs open right now.
Like, I personally am considering getting, what's her name? Amina. And between...
That's the girl with the cannon, right?
Yes. Between the S-Fire one and the Koto one, Kotobukiya has a better composition. It looks better. I'm sure this will have better shading, most likely. But if Koto has a better sculpt, I mean, I'm going to have to go with that one.
I was a little bit salty about their Sonic and Shadow figure just because it was like 40,000 yen.
Look at the composition, though.
It's really cool. It's so cool. I really wanted this, but it was also covered in seam lines. It looked cheap. So it's just like, I don't know. I will not personally go higher than B.
That's fine.
I would maybe even put him in C, but you're leaning towards B, I think?
I mean, B is a safe one, just because if you want to give them, because they have some bangers. They have some good ones, but then also,
I feel like this is the rockiest B, in my opinion.
Ooh.
I think these guys, I would swing towards the C, but I'll give it to I'll give you the B. That's fine. I don't know. You have an opinion on Claynel?
Claynel. Let me double check if I have anything from
I feel like you don't because they're very new. They're the one making the cool power figure where she's leaping with the scythe. They made some really nice Prisma Ilia figures. Everybody loved, well, the people who collect her figures, they really like those. They're really cutesy, nice pastel colors. Some really nice HoloLive figures as well. The wedding figures of Chisato and Takina from Licorice Recoil, I think are very pretty. Love the colors on those two. Their free Ren isn't my favorite. I think that would be like a B tier free Ren in my opinion, but I know people have very strong opinions on which one's the best for free Ren. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like some of their stuff is like A for me, some of their stuff is B, but the stuff that's like good, I really, really dig. So, but at the same time, I don't have anything from them
either. I have some things on my wish list though, like some of the Chisato, some of the Rikidos Recall stuff.
There's this one Dragon Girl, a little lewd, but Tori Domino design, so I like it. I feel like I will buy that one. I don't know. I feel like the stuff that's out that's very good is A tier. But I don't know.
End of A, maybe top of B. Up to you.
Sure.
Throw them in that range.
Should be like a B plus or something. I don't know.
We could just make a new thing here.
We could. It's gonna get messy though.
True.
Aniplex.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have an Aniplex figure next year, but I don't have one now. So I'm hoping you have something so we can get a strong opinion from you.
Aniplex figures. I mean, I got a few. Most of them are quote unquote waifus. I mean, the quality on them is.
It's like fine.
It's okay. I'm not gonna lie. Pricing is okay because most of it bins. No offense.
Yeah, usually though it starts out pretty high.
Yeah. I mean, I think I also had all of the. I think I had most of their Demon Slayer stuff at some point too.
I do have their Pekora figure that's coming out next year. The one where it's collaborating with Fate Grand Order. I think that's such a great concept. I love how that figure looks. The colors are outstanding too. Almost feels like it's not made from them, but that's a little rude. But I really do like that one. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they don't mess it up. And oddly enough, they are another company that has popped up on Good Smile Company, so you can get better deals for their figures. And I should say that Claynel and Aniplex, I think Claynel is just a division of Aniplex. I'm pretty sure that's the case, because they're always together. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that would kind of make sense. I mean, no, I'm looking at on the Aniplex page right now, and I do see some of the Claynel stuff. So I think they're vertically integrated. Claynel's probably like their premium division.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Claynel just is their good stuff. At least like they're trying to make it their good stuff. But it just could be a different team, and just sometimes it comes out better. I do think I would personally put Claynel one tier above Aniplex. I don't know if you were leaning towards the C for Aniplex.
I mean, the quality is not that great.
Okay.
Pricing's not that great. C is kind of fair. Don't want to offend anyone, but hey, I have a few of them, so.
They've made some nice Madoka figures, right? Like the Ultimate Madoka and Homura. I think the one where like their wings are huge. I've always wanted those. Pretty sure that's Aniplex, right? Unless I'm wrong.
Sure.
Pretty sure though. It's so hard to like search it up sometimes though. I gotta look for like Ultimate Madoka.
It's not like she has over 100 figures or anything.
Oh no, I was wrong. This one's made by Stronger. Okay, leaving them and see. Let's talk about Stronger next then. All right, Stronger. Do you have figures from Stronger?
I do not.
I'm pretty sure I do.
I mean, they do. They have some things that are collabed, so that kind of works in their favor. I really don't have much of an opinion on them. I will say that
I always thought they were pretty good. I always thought they were a pretty solid company.
What is it? Her Mine from the Bookworm anime.
Oh yeah, this girl.
That one looks amazing. I haven't seen it. Like I haven't seen any reviews or anything. But if I had to get one of mine, that's probably the one. Based off of that, I'd say they're pretty good.
I was looking at the wrong one. I was like, this doesn't look that special, and then I found like the second version of it with the ornate background piece, whatever that's supposed to be.
Golden whatever.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I feel like Stronger is another one of those companies that kind of fall under the radar a little bit, just because their output isn't super high. Man, I'm looking at this one figure of Mommy from Madoka. I remember this figure got announced like 5 years ago, and it's still not out yet. Not even up for pre-order yet. Oh, it was canceled. What? No way. It got painted. How did it get canceled? Is that true?
That's rough.
I think these guys are at least B. I feel like it's too hard for me to argue the A, just because I don't feel that strongly about them. But I do think they're solid. I would actually put them pretty high on B.
Yeah.
Like, I think... Yeah, honestly, I'm going to put them at the top. I think these guys don't really make too many mistakes. Like, I feel like even Megahouse in the B tier makes a few more mistakes than they would.
Oh, they make plenty of mistakes.
Yeah, so... All right, next up, we're going to do Magiarts, one that Derek is pretty familiar with. I am not. So go for it, buddy. Where should they go?
Magiarts, I mean, they're a little bit difficult to find, because I had to buy it off of a resin website, so that's probably not working great in their favor. However, the quality and the design work is pretty good. I have the Dark Magician Girl, and they have like the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff coming out soon. They have a lot more announcements. They also apparently have a new Guts coming out at some point with the Berserker armor. So they're a little bit newer. It's definitely one of those companies you have to keep your eye on, I think, because they're making some fun stuff. I mean, quality and price, I think tell me if I'm wrong. I think they're an A tier at least. Somewhere in the A tier. I don't know where.
I feel like they're so new. Like, how many figures of theirs are out? Like
67.
Well, they have 67. They're not out yet, though. Here's the thing. I'm looking at MFC, and anything in a purple box is a garage kit, so you can't buy that yet.
Damn.
If it even gets made. I don't know if I would put them in the A. They make a lot of Toho stuff. I would be okay with putting them in B. I don't know. Like, really, the only strong opinion you can have is on the Dark Magician Girl. I feel like nothing else is actually out yet.
That is true.
I do like this Dragon Girl from Magiarts. This one's pretty cool with the sneakers and the maid outfit. She just got a great design, but she ain't out yet. There's some lewd stuff I don't want to click. A lot of Toho. Yeah, I'm feeling the B. Feeling like fighting you a little bit on that one.
No worries. I mean, B kind of does make sense. I feel like they do have more of a resin background. Because like one look at the Dark Magician Girl, that's more of a resin design. You don't really see that. Although the base is stupid on that. I want to shrink that down. I think it's way too big.
I think it's just too soon. I think we can't really go too high on them.
Because
they only have like one figure out. Like, actually, I think they only have one that we can buy.
It's a solid one figure.
it's solid. It's solid. Okay, let me just controversial. Not even, dude. Square Enix. I put these guys just to be a bully. I think this is like not somebody I ever really talk about, but they make the worst figures. If you like Square Enix stuff, you like Final Fantasy specifically, I feel sorry for you because they're so tight on that IP and they just don't give it to anybody else. Now, I understand wanting to buy stuff of Cloud Strife and Tifa and Barrett and whoever else, but it just doesn't ever look that good. Even their static arts line, I feel like, comparatively to anybody else on this list, is actually kind of embarrassing. You look at like their face sculpts, they're all rough. You look at their hair, just flat, just one color, no shading whatsoever, and they're the same price. It's like, why? Like, what are you doing? It's just, they just know what they have, right? Yeah. They know they can get away with this. And it's such a shame because, again, you can't go to many other places outside of like third-party options to get something of Cloud or Sephiroth or anybody. Like any of these old games. You like Xenogears like I do? Oh well, you gotta buy their little Bring Arts figures, which me and my girlfriend do because we're suckers. We just want that stuff, but I'm never really satisfied. It's just like, oh, cool, I have a figure of Bart. Like, I love Bart, right? Like, that's cool. It's cool to have a figure of Bart. It's cool to have a figure of anybody, Faye, right? Like, we just love these characters so much that we are willing to buy them. But at the end of the day, like, their posables are a little brittle and they just don't really pose that well. Like, the articulation's not great most of the time. And the static stuff is just not really up to snuff. If there was another tier on here, I would put them lower than that. But I'll leave it a D. There's my rant. I don't know if you have anything else to say about them, Derek, but
I've only ever gotten one thing from them, and it was a random sponsored gift. They didn't even tell me it was in the box. They're just like, they snuck it in. And it was like the Cloud Strife Play Arts Kai. I was like, hey, it's pretty cool. I like Cloud. Open it up. Like you said, there's barely any shading. The hair is just one plastic. It felt like a cheap toy. And whenever you had to
it wasn't
move,
cheap.
it was not cheap. It's like the original price.
Not.
And like the joints, I could not for the life of me get the arm, like the joints to work. Putting it in other hands and everything, you'd run the risk of breaking it. So, like you said, D tier doesn't even do them justice. We should make one lower, just for the Square Enix.
Square Enix in the no tier. Just don't. I know it might be tempting. Just don't. Unless it's like bargain bins or something. Because if you like the characters, I understand. But I don't know. Anyway, let's do some quick ones. Because this video is going on pretty long. I don't need this to be 2 hours. So let's get a couple out of the way. We got like Wave, I feel like is a very safe company. I like them.
B.
I wouldn't put them higher than B. I could put them in C, but I don't think they're really offensive. The only thing I wish they had was like a little bit more hair shading. They always go for very vibrant colors, but there's usually not a lot of like complexity to their paint jobs, at least for the hair. But yeah, they're pretty good. We have Orange Rouge, which is basically a subdivision that only makes male characters. Not too many scale figures from them, a lot of Nendos, but every now and then we get something pretty good. I know they made some good Tokyo Revengers figures of Mikey and Draken, I believe his name is. Those are really good, actually. I don't know if they came out, but their prototypes were excellent.
I think they already came out.
Yeah, they probably did. I don't know if I'd put them in A or B. I don't think they're bad at all. They're not for me. They don't really make characters for me, but I do think they've done a good job. I think I should put them in high B. I think that makes sense.
High B is
I'll even like
safe.
I might even like rearrange this later just to get my like full, like these are in order, right?
Yeah, they have a good track record of putting out quality things.
Yeah.
Except nothing wows you. So I think B is it's solid. Just
Enso Toys. I don't think there's a lot of figures from them out yet, but from what I've seen, we did have a few missteps. I think these guys still have a bit to like catch up to. Like I think they made a couple of bunny figures that really didn't look as good as the prototypes. Their prices are decent. I believe they are a Chinese company, so they do have very affordable stuff. But I think their quality is lacking enough where I feel like I should put them in the C tier. Just not super impressed with their work yet. We have Solar Rain. I don't know if I could do this one quickly, but I don't feel super strongly about them yet because they're another one of those new companies that haven't put out that much yet. A lot of cool stuff, especially lately. They're pumping out so much, but I don't think their Colors Blue figure really like hit the nail on the head. I feel like some people were a little disappointed in that one, if you know the figure I'm talking about.
I'm trying to look it up as we speak.
It's like a girl with a sword, kind of reminiscent of something from like Nier Automata, but not exactly. It looked okay on the final products.
I see it now.
I think they have some cool stuff in the works.
They're doing Gridman. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Gridman. Oh, are they the ones making the really thick Rika? Yeah, that's them.
That's one way to
I mean, props for that. People don't like that. I mean, people either love that figure or hate it.
Thick.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it, but I like it just because it's just so out there, you know. It's just like, yeah, we'll just copy the art, which was already super.
They're also
thick.
doing like quarter scales too, like they're all over the place, but kind of in a good way.
I think with what's currently out right now, I'm not like in love with their work, but there really isn't that much.
It's hard to judge.
But they have a lot of promise, so I don't know if it's too early to really rank them. There's no real justification for me putting them in C, as much as I just want to like fill it out. I just feel like they're fine. Like they're okay. Like until they really mess up, I don't think I have to really put them that low. But it's another one of those early companies that I don't feel too strongly about. But I guess I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. Unless you think I should put them in C, and then I guess I can.
I mean, based off of the stuff they have planned, I think B is probably safe.
Sure.
Because there are some things even I'm kind of interested in, but Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we can give them a solid, like moving up or down until they get a few more out. Jump cut.
Yeah, we took a bit of a break, just been recording for so long, but I think we're at the point, there's a few more companies I really want to talk about, but there's also a few that I don't have too much to discuss here, like Emon Toys. I feel like I've never been like super impressed with the quality they've been putting out. Not a company that really pumps out a lot of figures either, unfortunately. We have Wing, which I feel like is probably a B, but their pricing makes me want to put them at a C. I think they're fine enough, though. Not an offensive company by any means. Luminous Box is another one that's pretty new. Doesn't have a lot of figures. But the one figure that I think a lot of people are probably familiar with is their Fubuki figure from HoloLive, which actually was pretty good and was like 10,000 yen. I don't know how they made it that cheap. But these guys do have a pretty solid quality. Definitely nothing offensive about them, even if they're not like super impressive to like at this point. But I think the B tier is fine for them. We have Wings, which is not the same as Wing, which is a little confusing. I believe Wings is or a Chinese company. I forgot what they've made specifically. I think there's a few figures that people really like from them, such as the Hatsuwaki, the Samurai Girl, which I feel like everybody bought. This one is owned by 1,300 people on MFC. Damn. So I can't say they're not putting out some quality stuff. This figure does look great. This Musashi figure is pretty cool, very extravagant, this one. So it seems like they're cooking a little bit. I think because of the Hatsuwaki girl, I would, literally just that figure, I would put them in B. Hobby Max is another solid one. They do put out a lot of figures. One of their most popular ones, and one of their more desired ones, is actually the Chi figure from Chobits. Hobby Max, that's what, sorry, I'm typing this out right now, and I'm tired. We've been recording all day. Oh, I'm so stupid. They're the ones who do the Radio Eva line. Like, I mean, hey, I like the Asuka figure that I bought, but I don't know about a lot of their other figures. The Chi is really nice, though. That's another one that's in the living room because my girlfriend bought that figure back in the day. Hey. I say back in the day, it was 4 years ago, but I know that one's super sought after. 3,000 people wished it, like, on MFC. That's how you know people really want that figure. Yeah, the Radio Eva line, it's another instance where, like, a few figures are really carrying them just, like, in terms of their popularity. I feel like a lot of their other figures are definitely not anywhere near as popular, but considering they made some nice stuff, Nana as well. They made some Nana figures. Nobody else is making Nana.
Yep. They got a few with sunflowers and whatnot.
Yeah, Hobby Max is pretty good. They're pretty cheap too. I feel like their prices are great. I kind of want to put them in A, you know?
There it is.
Considering a lot of people really like their stuff, they're kind of the people's champs in some regards.
Yeah, they also have some Grundlag and stuff and whatnot, so.
Yeah, the Yoko, Race Queen, I remember that one. Amakuni. I think these guys are an S, personally, except for their pricing, which has gotten atrocious. So
not that great.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I would put them, I want to put them in S, but if we're judging by, like, everything, like, S plus tier quality, it's always great, making good-ass figures, the beautiful paint jobs and the sculpting is just, like, on point all the time. A lot of stuff that I like, a lot of stuff that most people like. They've been around for a while, too. Always improving, but lately they've just had like the worst pricing ever, and it's making me not want to buy their stuff. Though I will say, they have the Yu-Gi-Oh license, and that is always gonna make me care. You know, we got the Aki figure coming out. This one looks so good. I haven't even seen 5Ds, and I might buy that figure just because she looks so pretty. I would love to argue for the S tier for them, but I think they're just not working with anybody. That, and they're exclusive with AmiAmi, so their figures never get discounted unless, like, the aftermarket deems it. But AmiAmi's never going to discount them unless something goes really wrong. So it's just kind of frustrating buying these Amakuni figures. They're super expensive, and they're just never going to get a discount. So I think, I think top of A is pretty fair for them. Max Factory. Now, these guys, a little harder to convince me that they are an S, They're expensive too, but not as much, and the quality's there. They work with good small companies, so you can get their figures a little bit more affordably. Their stuff goes on sale sometimes at bargain bins, which is not their fault or anything, but does help us out, right? These guys, I mean, they're like second in command, right? When you think of like the big companies coming out of Japan, especially under the Good Smile umbrella. I assume you have some Max Factory figures. I certainly have a bunch.
Trying to double check. I don't think I actually have any.
What, dude? What's your problem? How do you not have any Max Factory figures?
Just some of the things they produce. I mean, you know, like I can see the quality. I can see the different licensing and all that. I just unfortunately don't have anything that the IPs line up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at mine right now. It seems like I have 21, ranging from Miku, Gauko, a Shuten Doji, some Xenoblade figures, of course. Maybe just Pyra, actually. I think Good Smile did the others. Marnie from Pokemon. That's a great Pokemon figure. Maybe one of the best ones in terms of the simple ones, right? Chun-Li. That's like one of the best figures of the year, if you ask me. Holy shit, that's a good figure. That's her best figure, in my opinion. The Marine figure from Hololive, like, that's a stunner. That's a centerpiece figure. And they're making a new one, too, which I did pre-order. And they also have, like, a top 5 pop-up parade with the Guts Berserker armor. These guys are, like, the goats. They're too good. Yeah. They're too good. This one, I actually am not sure where I would put them. Furyu. Very big company. They have their budget stuff, they got their premium budget stuff, and then they have their F-Next line, which is like the super duper expensive stuff. Jeez. And I don't know if I really have a lot of their figures. I'm gonna double check, but tell me what you think about them.
I own basically every single REM they've ever made.
Right. That's what happens when you like REM.
I mean, they make so many figures, but
really
the pricing is not that great, and the quality is sort of suspect.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would argue to say that they're probably somewhere in the B tier because they make a lot of good stuff, but they also miss on a lot of stuff as well. But quality is the one that kind of bugs me. Like
I'm just looking for like F-Nex. I think their Tenatol line is actually pretty impressive for like the budget premium tier. Like, a lot of them look better than pop-up parades, and they actually come with bases that aren't, like, the most boring crap imaginable. They actually try with the bases.
Or whatever.
It's crazy that Good Smile Company just won't do anything with those bases. It just feels so manufactured, whereas this company is actually trying. Yeah, I don't think they make, like, terrible figures or anything. I definitely think they've stepped up their game, too. I feel like they were worse a little bit. Like a while ago, a couple of years back, but it seems like lately they're a little bit more on the ball, you know, so I'm okay with putting them in the B. I do think they're a little bit better than the ones we put in the C tier. Gecko, these guys shouldn't probably be here, but my list, I'm putting them in fucking S. Except for the Artorias, like 100,000 yen price tag. These guys make the most beautiful From Software figures ever. Some nice stuff for like Silent Hill as well. Little Nightmares got some like mini figures. Metal Gear, if you've ever seen their Cyborg Ninja figure. There's just a lot of really, really great stuff. It doesn't really feel like it belongs in this category, but I put them here anyway, so we'll leave them there for now. Whatever, you can forget that they're there because it's not part of what we typically talk about. Mimeyoi. This one could be controversial. Neither of us have figures from Mimeyoi. They don't really make stuff that we're super interested in because it's a lot of like Azur Lane. In fact, it's like almost entirely Azur Lane, maybe a little bit of Blue Archive. And that just is not really for me, right? They made a Bremerton that I kind of like. I almost bought that one time, but I haven't gone for it yet. I think a lot of people would put these guys pretty highly. I am of the opinion that they really messed up that one Taiho figure. The 1/4 scale, super busty, but like their teeth are so bad. People give figures so much credit sometimes just because they like, oh, I gotta censor that. Never. Okay, hold on. Censor that whole page. I shouldn't have clicked that. But we're rolling. Whatever. Yeah. It was just a user photo. Anyway, we'll just stick with it here. You need the user photos for this figure because like the promo shots look so sexy, but they messed up the mouth. But that's one example. Usually they did come out pretty good. I could put them in A, but I also feel like, I don't know, their pricing's pretty good too though, right? I think they do have some pretty good pricing.
I think one of my friends has their Hayakasa. but that was also in partnership with Amakumi, so I'm like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's more of an Amakuni figure in my opinion.
Yeah.
Man, looking at that figure costing 13,000 yen, like, I'm pretty sure they're making more Kaguya-sama figures, and the next one's gonna cost like 27, and it is gonna... it's just gonna give me an upset tummy just looking at that. But I feel like this page I'm looking at, like, some of these figures aren't even there. It's just weird.
Yeah.
They are fairly new. Man, I don't know. I feel like people are gonna get mad at me if I don't put them in A, but
Put them in B.
I think they're high B.
I mean, yeah, it works.
I would even put them in, like, yeah, I'll put them right under stronger. I think that's fair. Proof is fairly new. They haven't put out too much. Their pricing ranges from okay to terrible, but I'd be lying if I said they did not make some real nice looking stuff. Not sure if it actually comes out great, but I do love their composition. A lot of the time they do some great stuff. Going back to some IPs like Gurren Lagann, which nobody's really doing lately, just excites me. A new Call of the Night figure of Nazuna. Like, we never really got a lot of figures of her, and I think outside of like a little bit of hair shading, that figure looks really nice. Love how she's actually floating in the air upside down. That's just awesome as a sculpt. Their Boku no Hero figures are alright. Definitely solid stuff for sure. In fact, looking at them up close, I do like them. I don't think you have any, right, Derek?
I don't have any. I'm considering getting their 02, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
The face is a little bit off on
It
that
is.
one.
It is. Like, it's not perfect.
But I am excited about the Gurren Lagann stuff as well, because
That's what I might go for. Like, it just upsets me that I don't have Gurren Lagann figures. Well, that's a lie. I do have like one or two, but it's been a while. Oh, they're making Gintama. That's cool. I did not know they were making Gintama figures. I like that.
Really? Wait, where is that?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
nice.
there's no thing for it yet, but okay.
No, just announcements. And while it's been a while since Megahouse made a Gintoki figure, they re-released one for way too much money, which they typically do. I forgot to talk about that in the beginning of the video. Their pricing on re-releases is the worst. It's like 10,000 yen more for a re-release.
I mean,
no extra work. They just making more money.
To be fair, don't want to shill for them, but like, hey, things change in 10 years' time when the last one was...
baloney, bro.
So,
That's
you
why
know,
the hard work's done. They're just reprinting it. They don't have to have somebody design the figure and figure out like how it's going to be painted. Someone designed the box, right? Like, all this extra work's done unless they actually do a repackaged version. But it's whatever. We're not talking about them. Proof is all right. They're all right. I'm sorry. They're just another B tier. Fat B tier right now. So we're pretty much down to two companies. We have Good Smile Arts Shanghai, which is a little hard to rank. I mean, they are different from Good Smile. It's not the same division. They're in Shanghai, obviously, right? So it's just figures made for that region. And they do like to make a lot of like forgotten characters just out of nowhere. They'll do something like Saint Tails Nendo. Like, no one expected that. I know that was very exciting for some people, especially like my girlfriend loved that. Good Smile Arts Shanghai.
I mean, I think I have a few. I think I just have some of their Nendos. I don't think I have any scales from them.
Some of their Nendos are kind of bad, but they did like get a lot better lately. This where I've never seen this before. There's a new Ryuko figure from them, and it's like a really cool pose too, where she's like about to pull on the glove, right? Sword or scissor like stabbed into the ground. It's such a cool figure. I've never seen that one before. That's crazy.
I know a lot of people were saying really good things about the Exia when it first came out for Arkanites. They do a few
that was a very popular figure.
Thanks, Ken Ken. I'm pretty sure
True.
he has something to do with that. I'd probably put him in A.
Yeah, I was thinking A. I feel like maybe I'm giving them a little bit of credit here for no reason, but I do feel like they're doing some good work. I like their Anis figure from Nikkei. Pretty sexy. Not buying it, though. Gotta be a good boy. But, yeah, I feel comfortable doing that. Well, we'll put them in A.
A sound.
And we saved. Sorry to cut you off.
Good. Do good.
Best for last. Let's talk about freeing. Now, freeing... I've been I've been kind of hesitant to get into because I know a lot of people really like these guys.
Oh god.
I don't fully understand why, but they're extremely popular. Both of us do have figures from Freeing. I think you have a little bit more than I do. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
I have like 10, 15.
Whoa, really? I only have... Well, I have 2. My girlfriend has Junko from Danganronpa and the Ryuko. I think that might be it. We don't really collect a lot of big 1/4 scales. And obviously I like Taiga. And frankly, I'll give him credit. One of the better Taiga figures, or frankly, there's like 7 versions of that figure now. So one of the 7 figures of her now are pretty good in the ranking of Taiga figures. But it's kind of a gimmick to me, in my opinion. Like, they're just big. I don't think they're really painting these figures that well. I think it's just people really loving the idea of a company making a very big figure of a character that they like, and I understand the appeal of that. But if we're looking at them objectively, or at least trying to, I don't really ever get impressed with their work, which I feel like means I can't rank them that high, right? Like, have you ever seen a Freeing figure that really stunned you, you know?
Okay, there's only one, and I own it.
Okay.
It's technically not a bunny girl, but it is a bunny girl. It's the
right,
Mirako, because it's from My Hero.
That was cool. That one's
It's only
cool.
cool because it's not really part of their B-style bunny girl line, like that specific look. And I think that is like probably the best one because it has good shading. The sculpt is actually a little more dynamic. But if we're talking about like the main staple of that line, the main staple of Freeing,
which is just bunny.
It's not great. Like the
The
quality
problem is-
isn't very good. It's covered up by the fishnets. There's a lot of
People I like the fishnets, but at the same time, you look under the fishnets and the skin could be shaded better. You know, I don't feel like they shade the skin that well, and they kind of hide the fact with those fishnets, which is why I don't really understand the appeal of the bare leg versions, just because you see a little bit more of the subpar shading that Freeing brings to the table. And I do want to say, I don't dislike bunny girl figures. I like them, but I just don't think that like Freeing's take on these bunny figures are super impressive. They're just kind of pumping them out, right? Every now and then we'll get a cool design. We'll get something with like some more lavish detailing and just like accessories on their outfits, right? If it's like a popular character from an anime though, it's kind of just like, all right, black suit, there you go, maybe red. It's just kind of a little disappointing. They've like hit this mainstream popularity within our community. Obviously nothing anime figure is mainstream, but like everybody just kind of latched onto them, especially during the pandemic. People really liked Freeing during that time, and they gained so much popularity, and then like their prices skyrocketed, and then we started to see them dwindle, and people started to complain about them more, and it just kind of put them in this awkward situation where now they're kind of just trying to do like anything that catches on. They're making different sizes for their figures, and they're just kind of doing whatever they can. It's weird. It's interesting, but I guess I don't blame them for trying. They got to adapt. But ultimately, that makes me wonder where they land, right?
Oof. I'm willing to put them in the D tier.
I mean, it's at the end of the video, so people can't get too mad at us. They won't know until it's at the end.
Unless you
they watch it. They'll skip to it.
I'd
but,
probably put them in the D tier, or like high D, maybe really low C, just because I've never seen a company. Because like I think me and you both have a little bit of a background when it comes to like Gundam stuff. So I don't know about you, but I've painted a little bit before. Not
just
great.
A little on my end.
I'm not great at it, but I'm saying if the thing is like this big, it's kind of hard to screw it up. But they somehow still screw it up. They're the only company I've had to call customer support multiple times to get things replaced. I think I've replaced like 4 or 5 of my bunnies. And even the replacement's not great. So their track record with quality control is dog.
My Taiga figure did have the second one, the one with the tiger tail and the ears. That one had some quality issues. They have tried a little bit to lower their pricing, so I do appreciate that. But I don't know. I just wish they would try a little bit harder. I just wish they would go back to the drawing board. Maybe hire some new shaders, make new painters, man. Like, I don't know. Like, just feel like
they gotta find a new factory.
It's so flat. A lot of their figures look so flat sometimes. Maybe it's just because they always go with like glossy suits, so every suit looks the same. And if the character doesn't have like crazy hair, they might take the easy way out when it comes to just painting it. But I don't know. Yeah. I want more from them. I don't want them to fail. I want them to succeed, but I don't know. Everybody complains about them too. Like, I don't know why I'm trying to like skirt around this. Everybody, yeah, they suck. All they do is give me garbage. Quality control issues and breaks. It's like they gotta be down here. They have to be. At least they're not Square Enix. They're not Square Enix. Okay, that's a win. At least they're not Square Enix at the end of the day. All right, so it's been a couple of days since our recording. Been thinking about this for a little bit, but we forgot to do something. Derek, do you know what that is?
We forgot to move some things around, I think, because we were on the fence for a few. We're going to do it.
Yes, so we said we would do that, and I felt like the previous video, or the recording, didn't really end in the best way, so I figured, let's come back, let's double check stuff. Think alter, you got to put him at the top, right?
That makes sense.
I'm also going to do this. I'm going to move Gecko just out of here. I didn't talk about them enough. I already edited all of this video. There's no reason for them to be here, but just know I love them. I was maybe going to argue that One Piece Megahouse doesn't have to be S, but I know how you feel about One Piece Megahouse.
We can move it if you want. I mean, they do their best work with One Piece, though, for some reason.
No, I think this is fine. I think this is good. I don't know if you have any opinions on our A tier.
I mean, there are two that I think could move, but probably start with the other good smile, Shanghai.
I don't know how much we're weighing like Nendoroids right now, because mostly this has been a scale figure video. But man, they're really not great with Nendos for the most part. A couple of good ones, but they had a lot of rough Nendoroids, especially in the start of when this company started up. I just feel like I might be giving them a little bit too much credit, and I should maybe bring them down to B.
B's.
I don't know if you agree with that, though.
Fair, I think.
Flare was another one that was iffy to me, just because they have a bit more misses than I was... Well, honestly, I did point them out, but it was also like, I like their good stuff so much. But I don't know if everybody knows this. I think this is still the case, but Flare is a subdivision of sorts of Alter. You can almost see it in the A, the way it's designed is like the exact same as Alter. But I don't think the quality is the exact same, but at the same time, it's pretty apparent that the teams are pretty strong between the two. And plus they have some like other really popular figures that I didn't mention in the first video, like the Chocola and Vanilla sets. People adore that figure. Very popular at the time. So I think I'm going to leave them. I think they're fine. I do want to put Apex at least like to the top of A. I almost want to consider putting them in S, just because they make a lot of very, very solid figures. A lot of figures that people love, and they're very consistent. They make a ton of stuff too. I don't know though if like I'm ready to put them in S yet. Do you think they should go in S, Derek?
I think top... Sorry. The water went in the wrong hole. I was trying so hard. Really take.
I should leave that in.
I
won't do you dirty.
Do
like
it.
that.
No, do it. Do it. I think it'd be funny.
Do it.
You can put like a little caption or like zoom in on my face. It's like trying not to cough, about to die. Okay. I think top of A is probably fair. Like a lot of, like you kind of said, they do a lot of popular characters, a lot of good IPs, but I think the quality, you know, it's still really high up there. I have like one or two ordered myself, but I think you need to do a little bit extra to get that S rank. Like it has to be a whole package. So it's close. It's very close.
I feel like I have not seen a bad Apex figure, but I guess I haven't seen like their X factor yet, if that makes sense. Something that really brings them up one more notch. Now, Myethos, I feel like I should have given them a little bit more credit, just because they have some like absolutely like lovely original type figures that we don't see from the other companies on this list. They just go a little bit more like above in some aspects, like their base work is just so pretty. I think it's hard to deny just like their intricate sculpt work and their paint apps and all of that. Again, it's just one of those companies where you don't really see too many duds, and even if their prices have gone up like pretty considerably, there was a time where like so many S tier figures were coming out for like under 20,000 yen or around that price range. I think you would probably agree with that.
I think so.
But I mean, let me know.
Because like I I have a few figures myself. I think of the Sleeping Beauty, which is a beautiful figure. It's kind of criminal how that's kind of binned now, but
yeah,
the prices for that have kind of evened out, I think. Even if, like you said, the prices are a little bit higher in the beginning, they typically kind of even out. They have a lot of good offerings, and even though they don't have like a super extensive catalog like an Alter, I know a lot of other people are comparing them quality-wise. So I think they deserve an S rank. I think it's a solid and fair assessment.
The work is phenomenal. I do think they belong up here. Even if I would personally say that in terms of like shading, especially for like hair, I do feel like they're probably more towards the A, but the full package situation, I think they do deserve to go in the S.
So yeah, Design Coco, I think they can stay in A. That's one of the ones I would move around a little bit, maybe further back in A, because they've done a lot for the industry, like we said before, but they haven't really produced too many things. So
yeah,
I think they still deserve the rank, just a little further back.
Moving on to B, we have quite the large selection of B. I think we do need to actually arrange this so that like the further up or like in the front means it's like a B plus, and then as it goes down, it would be like B to B minus.
Yeah.
I do feel like Kotobukiya needs to be pretty high. Wonderful Works, I'm definitely a fan of. Maybe I would lower them a little bit just because they haven't been around for as long.
I'd probably knock Furyu down one more peg, just to the last spot of B, maybe.
Okay, just be real spiteful against Furyu.
I mean, I have a lot of.
I would have put them a little higher. I would have raised them a little bit, but honestly, I don't have their figures. Derek does, so I'm gonna take his word for it. Luminous Box, I think they should stay pretty low. I don't think they've done too much, and I might be giving them a little bit too much credit, but I'll leave them here for now. Wing is pretty solid. Plum is pretty like forgettable, so I'm gonna put them down slightly.
Makes sense.
Stronger is one that I actually kind of want to put in the A. I feel like I've not seen a bad figure from them. And someone will tell me that there are bad figures from them. However, I've had a bunch of them back in the day. I've seen a lot of them in person. I love their quality. So I think just that kind of rounds out our A's. I really do like that list for A right now. I do want to address Mimeyoi. I feel like this one will get people a little upset just because they've made a lot of really sexy looking figures that people adore, like the Duke of Wales, even the Taiho that I complained about, but I just don't feel like their quality really hits that A. It's very solid, don't get me wrong, but considering their output isn't too high, and we have seen a couple of mistakes already, including the Taiho, but there was also another figure, I believe her name is Shokaku, where her skin was like way too pink. Everybody complained about it. And I think like the sister character did not have that issue, so they just kind of fumbled that for no reason. I feel like they could be a high B, like right around here where I had them, but I just don't feel confident yet putting them in the A. Derek, do you have anything else to say about this before we close off?
I think we've done a good job. It's pretty solid. Hopefully you guys won't get too angry, like you said.
But yeah, I guess that's going to do it for our tier list. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Now, it's not the only video that we made together. On Derek's channel, we have a second collaboration video, completely different from this one. So I encourage you to go over to his channel and check it out, along with all of his other content, because he makes some great stuff. Yeah, I guess that's it for me. Derek, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. And I guess that'll be it from both of us. So until next time, take care and have a good one. Later.
Later.